Welcome to Empowering the Next Generation podcast. I am Helen Veru. This podcast is dedicated to help anyone connected to preteens and teens to give them tools, empower and inspire teachers, high school senior leaders, and parents to build the future leaders of tomorrow. We discuss about controversial and relevant topics related to the world of education, the main problems you are facing, and solutions to help you navigate your journey. We want to make a positive change in education by bringing on experts that will give you a different perspective on how you can solve the hardship you are facing today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowering the Next Generation podcast with me, Coach Helen. This is another episode, and you know that here we are helping you to ignite your high school community, create meaningful connections, and also to develop leaders around you. And if you want to actually grow into your journey as an educational consultant and you want to branch out into understanding how you can become a CEO and shift your mindset from educator to CEO, I would encourage you to join my free masterclass. The link is in the comment section. So I am really happy today because in the podcast, you have seen many experts come in and joining us and sharing really their message to you. Today we have Shaquana Miller, aka Shaq Miller. She's an assistant athletic director for student support, and she's the founder of Next Play Athletics Consulting, with a background in NCAA compliance, academic support, and coaching. She helps student athletes and families navigate eligibility, recruiting, and college readiness. Shaq is completing her doctorate in sport and athletic leadership, focused on equity and collegiate athletics. So today we're going to talk about really how you can help your student athletes to step into higher purpose. And I feel it's such a needed conversation because we don't think about those student athletes. We talk about many things in high school, but how about those who are really strong in the sports fields? So come on board, Shaq, with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your message. Thank you for being here actually to share your expertise, because I feel it's so necessary. Many parents who are listening to us, any senior leaders or even principal, they are willing to actually understand how that it works, how this eligibility works. So let's start with the first question. How did you start your journey to become really a director, an assistant athletic director for student support? How did that happen?
Well, first of all, Helen, thank you so much for allowing me to be here on this podcast. I am truly honored to be able to share my journey. It's been a long time coming. I've always known that I wanted to work in athletics. I have started as a college coach in higher education. And once I got into that role, I knew that I wanted to be more. And so, athletics director is my ultimate goal. And this is something that I've had on my to-do list, my goals list, since I've started close to 15 years ago. So I just been moving around to move up, as they say, and I've been in different roles and different capacities. And now I was able to land this opportunity by my mentor who brought me in here at Anderson University, and which is where I am currently. So I've been moving around to be able to get into specific roles to get me closer to that chair.
I love it. So you've always been passionate about sport, I guess,
Oh,
because
absolutely. Yes.
how when did you start that journey in the sport field? Were you like really interested in about it when you were young? How did that start?
Listen, I've been playing sports since I could walk. Literally
Wow.
about 3, 4 years old, running track, softball at the time. And so I've always been an athlete. I was a student athlete in college.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually am a Hall of Famer. So it's just things that I've been
Wow.
doing. They kind of put me into this role. So literally it's like, why not? This is what I
Yes.
am. This is who I am, so this is what I do, and I just love it.
I love that. So were you playing a particular sport?
Yep.
And what sport were you playing?
So I played college volleyball at Fayetteville State University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And that I've been playing for a 4 year starter, and this is something that I kind of, was able to fund my college career and get a scholarship to be able to go to school. So I honestly, I'm still playing sports now. So it's just something that I love to do. I'm a competitive person, so I love being in athletics in some form or fashion.
That's so great. And I guess you became the person that you had when you were in college, not in high school yourself. You became that person because you've seen that it's so pivotal in the life of a student athlete to actually have the right direction. So you became that guy that you actually had, you actually encountered when you were younger. So this is so amazing. So let's
Oh,
dive into
yes.
like more of the juicy questions. So why do so
Okay.
many student athletes miss opportunities at the next level? Not because of talent, but because of lack of information, preparation, or strategy.
Absolutely. It's just what you said. It's just lack of preparation, it's lack of knowledge. Being in my role here at Anderson University, as well as previous roles,
Mm,
I've realized that that's the main thing. It's the lack of knowledge. It's the I don't know. No one told me. And that's also the reason why Next Play was birthed, was because I wanted to be able to equip student athletes and their families, schools and school districts on the little things so that way they can have every opportunity to play collegiate basketball, football, tennis, whatever sport it is that they desire to play, that they have those opportunities, and lack of knowledge is not the reason why. So it is important to be able to provide that information so that way you can be able to know what the scholarships look like. You're able to know the things that some schools aren't giving at the high school level. Now, you do have some that really provide every opportunity, but there's a lot that do not. And so that's why Next Play was created, and that's my goal, to help as many people as I
mm.
can, many schools as I can, so that way we can have a greater impact.
Yeah, so does it start when they're in high school, and obviously do they need to have a certain different criteria to actually get eligible?
Yes, so the criteria for a student athlete is going to be a different criteria than just a regular student going to college. We have
Mm,
something called the NCAA, and what that is there's different, I would say, requirements that they need to have met depending on the division that they want to go or play at. So a Division 1, it has different requirements, GPA requirements, core GPA requirements than a Division 2. Division 3 has different requirements in all of them. So knowing that is half the battle. And understanding what that looks like for them is what's going to give you the opportunity to gain more scholarships at that particular level.
wow. For those who are listening to the podcast at the moment, I'm not really a sport person. It's something that I am actually working on. And when you said NCAA, I said NCAA, and I was like, "This is it.
It's the
You
same.
really
It's
don't
the
know
same.
anything."
No, 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 no. It's
And
the same. It could be NCAA. It could be NCAA. It's spelled the right way. So yes, you're right.
so what is the acronym for NCAA?
What's the acronym?
You
It's
you're not
Athletic Association,
okay.
Collegiate
So it's an
Athletic Association. Yeah, it was just
okay.
so
So
crazy because I really haven't. I see it when I go to Indianapolis because that's where their headquarters.
mm,
But really, because we're so used to saying NCAA, so that is actually a trick
understood.
question. But yeah.
Understood. But because we have a
Yeah, it's
worldwide
National
audience,
Collegiate Athletic Association. That's what it is. Yeah.
okay, National Collegiate, okay, I
Athletic
love that.
Association.
Athletic Association, I
Hmm.
love that. Because we have a global audience, I want
Hmm.
to know, is it only applicable to American, or is it applicable to any high school students who wants to actually go to the States or work
Yeah,
as an athlete?
absolutely. So no, the quick answer to that is no. Here at Anderson, we have about 30% of international student athletes from all over
Mm,
the world. In
awesome.
previous institutions, we have worked with a lot of international student athletes, so that's important as well. That's one of my goals is and targets is to get out there to not just Americans, but those internationally, as well as those that are in military bases that are OCONUS or overseas. So those going to be different requirements as well, but it's housed under the NCAA. So they have different requirements if you are an international student athlete.
Understood. I like that. And you're the person that will help them and guide them into that
Absolutely.
journey. I love
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, what are the biggest misconceptions for families and student athletes about the NCAA eligibility, recruiting, and what it actually takes to be college ready?
So I would say one of the biggest misconceptions that I see nowadays when it comes to recruiting is my student athlete is good enough, they'll come find them. And that's not the case. The world and the landscape of athletics has changed so much that it's not where coaches and recruiters can come find you because there's so much talent out there. So it's really having a strategy for families as well as the coaches that are assisting them to be able to get them the best opportunity to put themselves out there. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest things I see all the time. They're going to be good enough, they're going to find them. That's not always the case. And while you're waiting for that particular coach or coaches or schools is going around and talking to people who have actually advocating for themselves and putting themselves
Wow.
out there.
I like that. So they actually have to do the work.
Oh
And then
yeah.
from them actually reaching out and doing the work, then this is when they actually see that they have talent. This is when they actually see the potential.
Yes.
Uh, it's very important. I feel like anyone listening to us, if you know any student athlete that you feel that can actually be eligible for the NCAA, please contact Coach Shaq. It's
Yes.
very important because we want to actually help them. It's all
Mhm.
about academics, but how about sports? And I feel
Yeah.
like if we can help them in their journey to achieve a higher purpose and to give them that opportunity to actually
Mhm.
be part of the big team in America,
Mhm.
why not? So
Yeah.
I feel it's so necessary to have people like you in the sports sector so they can actually navigate them with the correct information because many
Mhm.
people can do it, but not really with the right knowledge. So I feel that you are an expert in that. And anyone listening to us, make sure that you go to Coach Shaq. So, how does early academic planning and intentional decision making in middle and high school change the long-term outcomes for student athletes?
Remember when I mentioned and how the athletic landscape has changed? Well, due to those changes and the increase of how everything is when it comes to athletics, I like to advise people to start with those strategies, to start kind of mapping out all the things that they want to do, where they want to go at the middle school level. Um,
Mm,
so even at the middle school level, you can sign up for an NCAA student ID. It's not going to be, I mean, that's when it's populated and you get your NCAA ID number. And so I tell people the NCAA ID number is like your social security number while you're in college. It follows you. You can go to 10 different universities and that number is going to stick with you that entire time. So at the middle school level, because at that point, families are paying for camps and different type of development
mm,
and skills and development opportunities. And so because of that, okay, we
mm,
should know that we're serious about our student athlete going to the next level. So at
okay.
that point, you're mapping out where you want to go. Some schools that opportunities, you might could drop in and go to some games and kind of see a feel for the culture. Now, coaches may have changed by the time that student athlete have graduated from high school, but you're able to see other things like the campus, the environment, the culture, which again, that can change, but still just going on campus is important. Academic planning. If my student athlete or my clients want to be able to perform at the Division 1 level, what does that look like? So mapping that out from middle school years. So when they get into their high school years, okay, this is what we need to take because
Mm,
At the Division 1 level, we have something called the 10-7 rule. That means you have to have met 10 of your core courses by your
Mm,
seventh semester. So, those are the things that a lot of families do not know. And that's some of the things that kind of mess them up for being able to play at that Division 1 level. Now, they can still play and transfer, but normally the initial phases, they might have to sit out, they might not get scholarship, and that's going to be important. So, knowing that early on helps you to be able to plan, helps you to be able to have those communications with those guidance counselors that can guide you along those years. So that's
mm,
what that looked like for academic planning and understanding what that GPA looks like. Because yes,
mm,
I want to have a core GPA, which is what
mm.
the NCAA looks for, but I also want to be able to meet the criteria for that college as well.
I like that. So they have to start early because you
Yes.
talk about middle school. So middle school is what age? Around what age usually? Because we have this in Europe is different for
Yep.
the terminology. So middle school is what age? Around what age
So
in the
they're
States?
about 12, 11,
Okay.
13. 14 is when they're starting to get into high school. So between
Okay.
12 to 13. So I have a nephew. He is about to go into the eighth grade and he is 14.
Yeah, so they have the parents have to start before that then to recognize if their child is really good at a sport, particular sport, and they actually need to start like before they are 10 years old to really say, okay, this is a plan that I want them to do. So they
Yeah.
can actually maybe go to the States, they can be part of the NCAA. Because if they start a bit later, like when they're in high school, is there like it's like a disfavor to them, isn't it? If they start a bit later.
No, it's not really a disfavor to them if they start a little bit later, but knowing that the ninth grade year is definitely the years. I have seen where there are some kids that are just super talented and
Mm,
athletic, and they're able to pick up their 10th grade year, 11th grade year, which is really uncommon, but I have seen it, so it's not that it's impossible. But I tell people once you hit that ground, your ninth grade year, which in high schools in America, that's where we start, then you have to be serious about, okay, this is where I want to go, or not even
mm.
just where you want to go, but I want to be able to play at the college level. Now you're going to be able to find the schools that you want, maybe a little bit later, but knowing that you want to be able to participate and compete at the college level, you need to know that by your ninth grade year. And that's the
Mm.
first grade, that's the ninth grade year of high school for here in America.
I like that. So, what would be the next level success when they actually say, you know what, in year nine, I want to be able to pay for college? What would be the success, next level success for them when beyond scholarship, and how can family prepare them for their sport, for life after sports?
For life after sports or life after
Yes,
high school?
both. Let's say both. So
Okay.
let's start with life after high school and then
Okay.
life after sport.
So your ninth grade year, again, you want to be able to have those communications with the right people to say, this is what I want my student athlete to do. Student athletes can advocate for themselves as well, saying, hey, I want to play at a Division 1, Division 2, even Division 3 level.
Okay.
Or maybe, hey, I just don't want that. I want to be able to prepare myself, prepare my mind, my body. I don't think I'm ready for for a 4-year college yet. Okay, you can go to a really strong and really great community college. Some people call it JUCOs. And so those are the
Mm-hmm.
options. Knowing what your options are is going to be
Mm,
where I look at the ninth grade year. So kind of mapping that out early gives you the best opportunity, the best scholarships, or the best conversations for whatever it is that you can get to be able to pay for school. So that's
mm,
what that looks like for life after high school.
mm.
Is preparing then. When it comes to life after sports, that's going to be where they're developed at the college level. And so that's why I like to tell people what I do here is so unique to Anderson because it's a role where I'm able to help build a student athlete holistically. I'm not just
Okay.
talking about um, sports. Actually, I'm not talking about sports at all. The only time I'm talking about sports is how you're able to provide that and marry that to what your purpose is in life. We are at a Christian school, so
Amazing.
we really get to call on the name Jesus, and I'm blessed to be a part of that because I get to have those conversations where some schools don't. So,
Mhm.
what does that look like for your identity? What does God have for you to be able to do past that sport? Because honestly, that sport isn't who you are, is what you do. It's the talents that God gave you to be able to play that sport, but there's more to that. So in my role, I get to help develop student athletes holistically. So professional development, personal development, and spiritual development. As you see, as you've heard, nothing athletically related, but I want them to be great human beings. And so, what that looks like is how I get to develop them now for what it looks like once they graduate.
I like that. This is so powerful because I feel that you are in a school that has all that caters really all the different aspects of the human being, and the
Absolutely.
spiritual part is very important. I guess in some school around the world they don't have that, but hey, you don't know. Like if you listen to Coach Shaq, maybe you will be attracted to what she's saying and
Hmm.
you would bring your child to that amazing school that can help them to develop your child holistically. So let's give them anyone listening to us, let's give them the first strategy that they need to do to actually help their student athlete, because we talk about so many things, but let's say, okay, um Coach Shaq, I have these amazing students and I want them to help them in their journey. I know the first step would be to contact you. That's amazing. But before contacting you, what do they need to prepare before actually coming to you so you can actually have an understanding into giving them the best tool? Because sometimes you can just come, you can talk, but if they come prepared for the meeting, then you can
Hmm.
actually have a better idea of what you are looking for to help them in their journey. So just give us two tools. Okay, what
Okay.
are the parent family needs to think about?
What to think about before preparing to talk to me? Let's see. Um, I would say, honestly, prepare. Okay, of course, know that you want to play the sport.
Yes, that's
So,
a good.
and then I would say, wow, that's a great question. Before preparing to talk to me, because honestly, I get them prepared for the right
Okay,
thing. So
okay. So they
I
don't
don't
need to
make
get prepared.
no, I don't want to put too much stress on people. So no, you
Okay.
come to me, I know the questions
Yes.
to ask, and I'll
Awesome.
ensure that you're prepared for whatever level that you want to compete at. Yeah.
I, I love that. And if they don't want to only play sports and they want to actually grow into academic level as well, they can do both. Can
Mm-hmm.
they?
They can do
Okay.
both. Yep.
They, I love
Absolutely.
that. I love
Yep.
that. Thank you so much, anyone listening to us. I encourage you to contact Coach Shaq Miller if you want to actually help your student athletes to step into their higher purpose. So, anyone listening to us, make sure that you share, you comment, you like what we are saying, because we are here to develop leaders, create meaningful connection, and also ultimately help people to connect better in their schools. So, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for listening to this episode, and make sure you connect with us on Instagram at The Case for Success. Check also my link tree and become an affiliate of the Success Guide for Teens Academy, a program that will empower your school community as a parent, teacher, and high school senior leader. Do not hesitate to reach out, comment, and share. Until then, see you in the next episodes.